Louisiana and enjoy great family time and great food as well. I'm talking gumbo, crawfish etouffee, and fried catfish. And I ate all of that, I'm serious. But to be honest, I must admit that after about a week or so on break, I did become a little anxious. Those kids get me every time. Sometimes I get wrapped in the negativity of all the things that are going wrong with the world, our country, especially having so much time on my hands. I mean, just in 1 week in Baton Rouge, they had tons happening, so I can't imagine what was happening across the country. And with that, it leads me right back to our kids. I start missing them and their innocent love, their hunger, and desire to welcome change to our world. Our kids are filled with excitement, and in return, they keep me excited. I remember that at this point in my life, I'm not quite in a position to create change in an instant all by myself. I'm only one person. But I am in a position to positively impact 100, 200, 300 kids every single day in an instance. And as the saying goes, there's strength in numbers. There were several things in my life that led to me wanting to be a teacher. When I was younger, I began tutoring my little cousins with reading and writing, played games with them such as the Game of Life, and even got on the floor and played toys with them, varying from the Incredible Hulk to Barbie dolls. I would like to play with them and make the special effects and everything. It was cool. But my cousins, they made it harder for others that tried to build relationships with them. The only reason why I was able to break through to them was because the way they felt always mattered to me. I wanted them to feel comfortable, and more importantly, I wanted them to know that they were always both heard and seen, no matter how I or anyone else was feeling. Now there's something else that inspired me to teach. The movie Matilda. Man, that's a good little picture. I'm serious, man. In that movie, I noticed two completely different types of teachers. One was grouchy, only caring about the job, wanting kids to practically bow in her presence and do whatever she said, when and how she said it. Then there was the other teacher. Man, she was very kind, and she wanted to first get to know Matilda. She visited her home, family, taking interest in what was in her heart, and it led to them having an unbreakable bond. From that point, there was nothing Miss Honey couldn't get Matilda to do. And I was like, okay. That is the epitome of our job here at KILT. It's not easy to open a book and teach our students how to write a persuasive essay, break down the circumference of a circle, summarize the first paragraph in the book Wonder, tell the difference between plant cells and animal cells, or how to run a mile in 10 minutes. That's for you, Coach. But it's a lot easier when those kids believe in you because they know you believe in them. Our kids are incredibly smart, and they have a good read on the person that is truly invested in them. And it starts with being intentional and remaining consistent. As we know from our own personal lives, it truly takes a lot of hard work to create a strong relationship with someone. It's the same way with our kids. We have to actively, every day, go out of our way to get to know them on a more personal level. It can start by just knowing their favorite music or hobbies. A kid a couple weeks ago told me about a guy named Lil Uzi Vert. I listened to it like once and I wanted to talk to him, but I won't tell him that. But once we ask, it's not over. We have to circle back over and over as you would with a family member that you love deeply. The first real game changer for me was 2 years ago, my first year teaching. I formed a relationship with a student that didn't teach, but I did coach him. The student had some behavior problems that he was working on, but he and I had something in common: basketball. The more I learned about him on a personal level, the more I realized A, he's a great person, B, he truly loves basketball, and C, every day he leaves our building, he was going home to a rough neighborhood. That alone inspired me because I too had to go home to a rough neighborhood at that age. A good thing for me is that my family kept me active in the community and focused on school no matter what, helping me not to get caught up in what the neighborhood kids were doing. And with this kid, I knew it was my chance to add something in his life that would motivate him to stay focused. So in my first year at KIP, we absolutely had to make a basketball team centered around this kid, the team that we still have today. It provided both excitement and a positive after-school activity for him. And now I see him in the hall at Brave, and he's still one of the most polite and respectful kids I've ever been around. And he's on the basketball team. His character continues to grow, the perfect example of growth mindset. But there was another student last year that was he was a life changer. This kid provided the compass for the new direction I needed to take with my teaching career. Our bond too initially started with the commonality of basketball, but it grew way beyond I ever could have imagined. You see, I was this kid's coach, but I was also his advisor. So he and I, we had already started building a relationship with each other. I remember early in the school year, he brought his little sister to basketball practice. And that's when I learned that she was battling cancer. So about middle way through the semester, this kid went, he was out of school for like a week. And so after further exploration, we found out that his sister died. She passed away. So it led to me, reaching out to his family. I visited his home, met his mom, dad, little brother, big sister. I met his little dogs. We even played basketball a couple of times at a court that wasn't too far from his house. But I became very drawn to this kid. He, not only because he lost his sibling, but the courage and strength that he showed. I mean, I witnessed him every day conversing with his friends, completing assignments for his teachers, even though he had something so heavy weighing on his heart. And that kid reminded me of how vital these relationships with students are. Me actively asking about how him and his family, and now him and his family, how they were doing, it led to us, forming a very strong relationship. And now we're forever connected. I'll be there on the day that he graduates from high school, college, and whatever else he accomplishes. In fact, a month ago, him and his family gave me a puppy. Her name is Daisy. So, we're essentially and officially family members. And you can ask any teacher at Beacon that if I ask this kid to go build a bridge, he'd go build a bridge and a village. And that's the point. As I've stated, we can't immediately change our country all in an instance. Eliminating the hate crimes that we see, the school-to-prison pipeline, our recurring social injustices and inequalities. But we can help cultivate students that will build bridges and then create a new country with new ideas, new love, and new ways. Now we're talking thousands of lives each day that we are impacting in an instance. That's insane. And when it fully circles back, that's when you've been able to do what I believe is the best job in the world. We're teachers, but more importantly, we're creators. And it starts with the creations of relationships, love, bonds, and trust that we share with our students every day. Now it happens two ways. Are y'all ready? Okay. You open up, then they'll open up. You be vulnerable and let them in, then they'll be vulnerable and let you in. When you consistently put two and two together, it's inevitable that we will positively impact our kids. And in return, they'll positively impact us as well. The relationship may not come in one day or a week, but it can definitely come in a year. After that, it never vanishes. We just have to remain patient, caring, and consistent with them every chance we get. The same way we want firefighters and doctors to save from the heart, police officers to serve from the heart, and the president to lead from the heart. We have to teach from the heart.